Apple started shipping their latest gotta have it device this month, the Apple Watch. And given its entirely new nature, people understandably have questions. So whether you're one of the people still waiting for your Apple Watch to be delivered, or you're just someone who's kind of curious as to what this new Apple Watch thingamajig kind of does, I figured I would do a complete walkthrough. Show you the OS, the hardware, and kind of show you what you'll actually be using it for, as opposed to what Apple thinks you'll be using it for. One of the most appealing things about the Apple Watch, in my opinion at least, is the styling. The watch itself, made out of silver aluminum for the Apple Watch Sport, the lowest model, stainless steel for the Apple Watch, which is the middle model, or precious metal like gold or rose gold for the Apple Watch Edition, the highest tier, of course, is all well crafted and feels like a luxury item, which is a good thing, because the Sport or lowest model starts at $350, which is a decent portion more than any competitor's watch in the Android realm. And the average price for a watch is supposed to be around $500, which is close to the price of an iPhone. Not to mention the $17,000 price tag for one of the Apple Watch editions. Another thing that greatly affects the price of the watch is the band. You could choose from a ton of different options, from the rubber-looking sports band to leather to metal links and more. The bands themselves can range from $49 for the sport band to $149 for the leather one, and even up to $449 for the stainless steel link band. With the ease of removing the bands by simply pushing a button on the bottom of the watch and sliding the band out, though, it seems Apple is definitely going for the luxury watch demographics, the men and women who have multiple watches to match their outfits. Moving on, there are two buttons on the device, with one being a bit more than just a button, really. The digital crown, as it's called, is a small wheel that you can use to select and or scroll through things on the screen that might otherwise be a bit annoying to do with your finger on such a tiny device. This wheel can also be pushed on to make selections, as well as switching between the app screen and home screen, etc. The only other button on the device is the friend button. This button, whenever pressed, brings you to a wheel of your favorite friends. You can then tap on any one of them and quickly communicate with them via text, call, or if they themselves have an Apple Watch, you can send them a customized animated graphic that will show up on their watch. The one that Apple totes most often is the heartbeat, which actually takes your current heart rate and sends it to the other person's Apple Watch in the form of a small beating heart. The idea being that you can send loved ones your heart. Sweet, maybe? Creepy, possibly? I'm personally gonna just use it to let people know that I'm physically alive. The home screen for the Apple Watch, as it sort of makes sense, is a watch. There are about 10 watch faces that come on the device. No, you can't download new ones from the App Store, at least not yet. Each of these faces can also be customized in varying ways depending on the watch face you select. Things like the color of the minute hand on some, to what info displays in what sections on the watch face on others. You can put things like the calendar, date, activity, and even moon phases for, those of you out there that are werewolves. All of it, though, can be put on your watch face to be made front and center whenever you raise your wrist. Besides the watch face screen, home screen, whatever you want to call it, there are two other screens that are pretty much the main screens in the OS. So tapping the digital crown while on the watch face brings you to one of them, called the app screen. The app screen is where you select different watch apps from. Watch apps, by the way, are companion apps that developers can create that get installed when you install their corresponding real app. So for example, if Yelp made a watch companion app for their Yelp app, whenever you downloaded the Yelp app from the store, the watch app kind of comes with it, and then you can choose whether you want to display it or not on the watch. This screen, by the way, has two views, the default zoomed in and a further zoomed out view that you can switch between by scrolling the digital crown up and down. You can control what apps show up here by going to the Apple Watch app on your iPhone. The one that was pre-installed when you updated to iOS 8, whether or not you bought the Apple Watch, constantly stabbing you to remind you that you don't have one and should go buy it. From that app, you can select the app in question, then turn it on or off whether you want to show it or not on the watch. The last major screen in the watch OS is called Glances. And whether you want to call them it or not, glances are essentially widgets. By swiping up from off the bottom of the screen, you bring up your glances screen. Each glance is tied to a particular watch app and brings information directly to you from that app without having to open it. Did I call them widgets already? You can swipe left and right to get to each of the different glances and can control which ones are even displayed in the Apple Watch app on the phone by going to My Watch, then tapping on the app, and if it has a glance available, you can tap Show in Glances. Next, we have the notification shade, which works in the same way for the most part as the one on your phone. You access this by swiping down on the watch face from off of this top of the screen, and you'll be presented with all of the notifications you've received. You'll know you have a notification, by the way, when you see the small red dot at the top of your screen. The notification shade, though, is only ever used if you miss the notification. When receiving a notification, if you aren't already looking at your phone, you'll get a tap, which is a fancy word for a vibration that feels a little more directed, kind of like someone tapping your wrist. And if you lift your wrist up within a few seconds of that tap, it will automatically display the notification right then and there, and you can interact with it or just dismiss it. And that's pretty much the gist of how the OS itself kind of works. It's really simple, and it has to be. It's on your wrist. But with all of that said, how exactly do you end up using it on a daily basis? Most of the time, you're going to be using it for notifications, if we're honest. And it may not seem like much, but every time you get a notification and you're able to just lift your wrist to see what it is, whether it's important or not, and put it away, it becomes a subtle yet kind of vital thing that you end up wanting to do again and again. And I didn't realize how much I actually missed it until I one day left the watch at home. I also noticed a psychological effect it actually had on others around me. There is something much less intrusive about glancing at your watch when, say, in the middle of a conversation with a friend to just check to see if something's important needs to be responded to right away or not, as opposed to the actual act of taking out your phone. So, win, maybe? Now, the one thing you probably won't use the watch for are apps. With the exception of, say, the workout app that you'll use to track your run and bike ride and any of that other stuff. You know, should you prescribe to, all that healthy living mumbo jumbo? Just kidding, eat your vegetables. The messaging app, which you can use to go look at previous messages really easily, and the music controller, which allows you to control the songs that are on your phone without having to take the phone out of your pocket, which is just convenient. You'll end up opening the apps probably once just to see what they do, and then every time after that, you'll use the real app on the phone. The tiny screen and the state of the apps currently, which might change over time, but it just isn't as conducive to be used as the phone itself and the real apps. And that's kind of it. I mean, it can do fitness tracking, so that's kind of cool, but there are much less expensive fitness trackers on the market. So bottom line, is it worth what you pay for it? Well, that depends on you. So most people would say that the only reason you buy it is to stop yourself from taking your phone out of your pocket, and that's stupid. Most people that are gonna go buy a nice watch or have multiple watches are gonna spend about the same on one of those. And if you're questioning what the Apple Watch or any of these smartwatches actually do for you, but you are one of the people that owns those watches, and I have to ask you, what does that watch actually do? I mean, it tells the time, but so does your phone, and I know you have a phone. You're probably watching this video on it at the moment. So all that watch does is save you from having to take your phone out of your pocket. There you go, guys, a quick walkthrough of the Apple Watch. If you enjoyed that, please share it or thumbs up it. It is greatly appreciated. And if you want to see more videos on tech and other fun things that I do here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching.